we're never a bore. You haven't heard it like this before. Yes, it's time to explore the things we care for. And though your jaw may hit the floor, we're still the weirdos you adore. We're the weirdos next door.
Hello, this is Nobi, he, him.
And this is Nicole, they, she.
And together we are...
Weirdos.
Weirdos.
Next door.
Next door. That was beautiful.
That was terrible.
That was awesome.
That was an absolute hot mess.
It was super awesome.
It was bad.
So hello everybody. We are now attempting to record in Light Fury back home from the convention that we attended. We just stood around LAX, and we are now leaving. We're heading northbound on the 405. That's how we say it out here, the 405. Ferrari just buzzed by. You hear that? Hear that? Yes, that's a Ferrari.
Oh, you're in Southern California. Douche canoe.
And not all douche canoes.
A lot of them are,
hey,
though.
you know, if I could afford one, like if that was like pocket change to me, I mean, of course I would like, you know, feed the world, and
Yes, absolutely.
Cure medicine.
Cure medicine.
And but after that, if I still had like a surplus where it's like, a $500,000 Ferrari. Actually, like some of them now are topping $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
If that's like pocket change, that just falls into the cracks of the couch. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then you gotta give it to me. I'll let me have it. Actually, I'll probably just have like a garage of them. I'll be like Jay Leno.
I mean, I feel like there's better things you could do, but your money's your money.
Well, I had 2 words for you. Tony Stark. He did a lot of good, but he had an awesome car collection.
Yeah.
You can have both.
Yeah, you can.
Anyway, about like seven. What? Oh goodness.
Pickle fruit. Pickle from the fruit.
This will be a good test. It's a loud Chevy pickup truck. It's got some muffler issues, obviously. Now, littlebear has decided to give chase and has dropped out of the carpool lane.
That's it. I'm totally going to go chase him down.
Now attempting to tailgate.
Yeah, totally.
A red Chevrolet.
From 10 car lengths back.
I feel like today was pretty good. I would have to say my favorite day was probably yesterday. I felt more comfortable, and we're in better rooms.
Yeah.
I think today I kind of started off all tired.
Yeah.
Just kind of worn down from like the 3 days. 3 days in a wheelchair, which I think we need to do an episode on, just sort of like, revelations and things like that we've come to realize, because that will eventually be like
what one or both of us has to deal with on a more regular basis at some point.
We're gonna kind of anticipate these things. So I think that's one of the reasons why when I was like shopping for the house, for the manor,
we didn't want stairs.
That one house though, that 2-story house.
I know.
That was kind of cool. But yeah, we didn't want a multi-level dwelling.
Or anything that wouldn't be simple and easy to add a ramp to on the front.
Oh yeah, ours we could totally add a ramp.
Yeah, it'd be really easy if we had to.
Because we have a very large driveway. So yes. It was good. It's like
because it's one of those things of
our front yard is ADA compliant.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have a ramp. Okay.
But it's one of those where, like, we kind of knew when we bought the house that we intend on being there for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like, yes, of course, the pipe dream is a piece of property somewhere, and splitting time there and here.
Yeah. Well, ideally, if we had members of the polycule who continue to stay here.
Yeah.
Or we could rotate. Yeah. Everybody get some in town time. Like, oh, we really want to go to this event that week and blah blah blah.
Are y'all good with us? Having our bedroom for that weekend? And,
yeah.
But no, like we'll figure it out one day. And yeah, of course that's the dream. But like, it's probably gonna be our rest of our lives home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That brings it's gonna be an episode because we even touched on it a little bit today of like the inheritance and that bullshit episode because that comes with a whole host of feelings and a conversation that we've started having as far as if something happens to you first, what do I do?
Yeah. Well, I have given verbal instructions to
one of the kids,
one of my children, as to how I would like you to be treated by the family, and specifically, looking out, for anything. If I go before my parents, them getting home medley and stuff.
And trying to push me out of shit.
But that's another conversation. I think I was doing pretty good, but I started out kind of already tired this morning, and I didn't really sleep very well. But I do have to say I am feeling better, with the hip and other ailments.
Yeah.
So I feel like all I really want to do now is just
go snug your cat.
Well, yes, of course, snug my cat, but just sit there, literally pantsless, wearing my junk out.
Yeah, you wore pants 3 days in a row. That's big for you.
That's rough. That was so rough.
That is really big for you, and I say that completely, like, not making fun of you or anything, but it is. It's a big. That's a lot. That's a lot of days in pants in a row.
The pandemic has taught me to be comfortable.
Yeah, like why the fuck wear pants if you don't have to?
In my home, my own home, the manor, we can do this, and it's actually, I think, it's encouraged, yes, to be pantsless, but maybe it should be like a requirement. Like we do, okay, we give up the shoes off thing, right? But it's a pants off.
But you must have pants off.
It's a bottoms off. It's a bottoms off household. Right? Oh, hilarious. It was good getting to see
some familiar faces.
Yes. Hello.
And make a couple new buds.
Yeah. It was good. There was where was the first class we went to?
You went to male domination.
Oh yes, we divided and conquered the first one.
Yes.
So I did male domination with my friend Joshua, Master Joshua, he's known as. That was an interesting conversation. For me, it's sort of got a little derailed when I already told you one of them when you refer to Asia as the Orient, and it was I don't know. Of course, Little Bear said, "Well, why don't you just say something and correct him right there?" It's what threw me off? He was sitting right next to his wife/partner, what have you, who was dressed up, was Asian and dressed up full, dead on, Dragon Lady, Madame Dragon Lady, kind of stereotypical action stuff. I mean, she looked great, beautiful, right? But it was still very stereotypical. And so the minute he did that, I felt like She should know better, but she didn't. She has not taught him.
She has so much internalized racism
Yeah.
still to undo
Yeah.
herself.
And I thought for a brief moment about saying something, but it was my friend's class, workshop, or a round table. I didn't want to make a big hoo-hoo about it.
Yeah.
But it kind of like all of a sudden, I think like a little wall kind of came up on me. I kind of like closed down a bit.
Well, no, I totally get it, because that shows, like, anyone who doesn't have that point of view, which was probably most people in that room, it's automatically, I can't be vulnerable here, you're not a safe person.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, luckily I had gone before him in introductions and like stuff, and so we're around him, our names, where we're from, and what we're hoping to get out of this thing. And I distinctly remember me saying that I was hoping to and I feel like I've lost touch with my dominant side a little bit, and we're kind of like this is the first time we're going to a convention since pre-pandemic, right at the beginning of the pandemic, and so kind of like it's everything's got us all twisted, so we're out of sync. So I was hoping that, maybe talking with, this roundtable could work on can I do kind of get my mojo back?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah, that's a good point. And then when I finally got, to Quaker Longbeard, he started going off on the
Cancel culture
and
consent violations.
He was also talking about, he kept naming all these people, like a David Portnoy. I'll have to look that up. That really just stuck in my head.
It's just pro-dominance, or people who are well known in the community that got canceled
okay.
for one reason or another.
Well, he introduced himself as a pro-dom of 10 years. So, definitely had that privileged white man swag. It's all right.
I mean, it's also the same dude that grabbed someone when they came into a classroom the other day. If you haven't learned that you can't touch things that aren't yours, then you have no business in this.
I mean, was there an oncoming train that she needed to be yanked from?
No.
Being hit by?
Nope.
Was there a
hard negative?
A chunk of airplane blue ice about to land?
Still hard negative.
Huh. So, just for existing and getting within arm's reach of you,
coming in the door that your entire body was
blocking. Because yes, it was a cramped. We were in the cramped room at the venue,
tucked in the corner.
Yeah, and it was people trying to step over me, and one lady kicked my foot because I was like, ow, and just oblivious. But we'll talk about that in another episode. So the whole conversation started sort of devolved into it felt really
I'm a white man, and I need people to tell me that it's okay to be a white man in this world that's against me.
Well, to be fair, Josh handled it very well. He acknowledged that there needs to be a form of justice, and I don't know if he actually said people before king, but he was actually I got the vibe that he was espousing that sort of
what they've come up with for that.
I didn't dig a little more into just figure out what everything's all about. But just for me is allowing equal representation and ability to speak for yourself, and or being able to at least like reclaim your name, will not just
Yeah.
be canceled forever, and like a way to do what needs to be done to correct
What the
got you in
accountability
trouble.
process looks like.
Yeah. So essentially, what do you help people? Don't just say be accountable, or don't just say do the work. Here's what you can do.
Yep.
Build stuff.
Build the framework.
Right. Yeah. So I like that. That's pretty good. So I guess in that respect, it worked. It just there was another like tall white cishet man who, oh man, God, I feel like I think he even said something like because of his looks he gets a lot of like. No, that was on Top Chef, right? I get extra privilege because of his looks. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So there was like 2 or 3 people there, men, who whenever they spoke, and they were the most active speakers because they pretty much just like they kind of pretty much shouted everybody down, and they were like very. There was a lot of venom in it, and I think that felt like it was a safe space, but there were like a couple women sitting with us.
Yeah.
It was like,
well, in reading the description back, which I got like because it was before I was talking about DomCon being very femdom led, but in the description it says, being a man in a female dominated world. It's like I feel like maybe those are the men that didn't think critically that they were talking specifically that it's a majority femdom event, because no, women are not the majority of the world. We are not the ones in power. Like, yes, there's lots of layers of male domination that are whatever, but it's still based in a lot of very, very gendered rules and how we work in society.
yeah. See, the way I took it was.
So just like applying what description was.
Yeah. What did it sound like?
I don't know. It sounds.
Am I off?
No. Like I feel like the description could be written a little bit better, because I feel like the description almost opened the door for incel-y due to how it was written, if that makes sense.
It felt a little incel-y. And I tried to tell Josh at the end of it some feedback, but we all got distracted. But it was still, I appreciate being there. I think I also was like thrown off by the Orient comment.
Yeah.
So that kind of like soured, that's immediately put me in like a negative state. So I will own up to the fact that I'm probably being a little too harsh on everybody, and I consider it a safe space to be able to vent, like a hive mind sort of a thing. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
I
Tell
went
us
to
about your
the
class.
mental health roundtable.
Yes.
It was a really interesting conversation. We all just kind of like, we did our thing, go around in a circle, name, experience, what you hope to get out of the situation. And in addition to Shui, who was leading the discussion, we actually got lucky with like 2 or 3 other psych professionals, all of which are interested in or working on, the intersection of kink and healing, kink and psychology, and all of those amazing things. But like with a lot of things in the BDSM community, there's still a lot of stigma attached. Like there are still psychologists where if you say that you're polyamorous, they eschew you for cheating on your partner and make you feel like garbage. And then you also have the therapists that prescribe polyamory because they think it's a fucking Band-Aid.
Do they still do that?
Yes, they do.
Wow.
You should open up your marriage.
Yeah, I
Your
don't think-
husband wants to fuck other people. That's why he keeps cheating. You should just let him fuck other people.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to solve it unless
No, it doesn't solve the problem.
There's
It's
enthusiastic consent.
it's a fucking Band-Aid. Because if
Enthusiastic
you're not
consent on
having
both sides.
consent and communication about the whole situation.
Yeah.
And you have psychologists that will tell you that if you go to therapy and say that you like to hit people till they cry, they think you're a fucking psychopath and you abuse people. And there are still these stigmas that exist. It's same with littles and the little community in pedophilia, or the furry or pet community in bestiality.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very, very incorrect assumptions.
See, for me, we always have that joke, the gag of no, I'm not into that fetish at this time, right? Or it's like I felt like that we're always evolving, and other things become more interesting. Exposure to other things might sway you another way.
Plus, also, we have found that the longer you joke about something not being a kink, the more it becomes a kink.
Yeah. But regardless, I forgot. I totally lost my train of thought.
We're always in a state of evolution.
Yes, always changing, and I find it kind of hard to believe that there's these hardcore old school doms haven't evolved in some way, but to what?
I'm sure they have, but it's also, especially if you were taught old guard, you now have to deprogram and unlearn a lot of those things that don't serve you in a more intentional, person by person practice versus just this is what we do for any and all connections that we make in the leather lifestyle.
Yeah.
Our conversation was interesting. We, discussed some kink and healing, being more trauma aware in your kink.
Yeah.
And, on both sides of knowing your traumas so that the people playing with you don't trigger you or set off any landmines or anything like that.
Yeah.
But also, if you and the people involved are open to it, how are there ways that you can work out that trauma within a scene that is a controlled situation that allows you to reclaim your power in that situation that once left you feeling helpless and having no control?
Yeah. I think we're definitely coming away from this whole entire weekend with some things to think about and some possible solutions that we could try, or at least discuss and see if we can craft something that works for us.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a good thing. I know I'm going to pay for it next couple of days.
Yeah.
With the sciatica, but I guess I'll just be there. I'll be Donald Duck in it on the couch, editing all these episodes. We got a bunch of them, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty solid. Anyway,
got some good stuff, and we might be able to get some guests on soon.
Oh yes, you have to forgive me for that. I was just I was in pain the last half of that last class. Did we talk about the last class yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, juice.
So we skipped on the third class period. No, we went to the music class. Yeah, because that was second. We divided and conquered the first round.
Yes.
So, yeah, I went to the round table. You did the male domination class.
Yes.
Both were good.
Yeah.
And then we went to the science of music and scenes, which was great. I loved the person who taught it. Incredibly knowledgeable.
I was a little saddened that he didn't have proper audio equipment provided to him
I think across the board, a lot of things were low production value.
Right. But,
which is perfectly okay.
But I think everybody pretty much has some sort of
Audio system.
little, not even audio system, but like a Bluetooth speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Something, right? I forgot if they said anything about that, but you know me, I'm all about sound.
I know.
So it was really hard to honestly get into anything too much because while we were talking about music, when we were playing music, it was all like a lot of it was we weren't even treated to what his bottom, the sub was doing or listening to when they put the earplugs on her, and he demonstrated things doing to her with
Well, he gave us a small sample of it.
True.
He gave us the information of how to get to it.
Yeah.
He's working with what he had.
That's true.
We don't know how small, how far out of town he came from, or how small his bag was that he packed. So as much as you're like, oh, everyone has that. No.
That's true.
No, everyone doesn't have that.
I am wrong.
And even if he did have space in his bag, it doesn't fit in people's budgets.
That's true. All right.
Extraneous audio equipment.
Yeah. I guess I'm so gadgety.
You are very gadgety. But we have the privilege of being able to be gadgety.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great class. Definitely came at it from literally the science of music and what it does in the body. And then applying that to kink. So it was very, very good. I liked it. And then we took our break and came down and smoked and hung out for a little bit. I ate some chips.
We recorded an episode.
Yeah, we recorded our last episode. And then we went back up for Orpheus Black's Kink and Spirituality class. Which again, very, very good. Orpheus Black, fantastic educator. Anytime I come to something and he is teaching, I will be there. But yeah, it was a really, really great class. Again, bringing in his own spiritual practice and that the spiritual practice that he has with his partner. Again, Indigo was there. They're fantastic. I love their energy. They displayed some of the slave positions that they use, and how Indigo has them flow together, and that was a very, very beautiful demonstration.
I think that's something we would probably enjoy doing.
Yeah, I liked the.
It's very meditative. It's very, and you do like stretching out.
Yeah, that it's just a deeper level of what we already do to start scenes.
Yeah. That might be interesting.
I go and get things ready and get into whatever position I feel comfortable in, which yes is usually the display position.
We'd have to practice that.
Yeah, but
Look,
it's.
I would have to memorize it. You would have to practice it.
Yeah, and it'd be different. The intention would be different. You have me. Your rule is that I have to go be in this position. Hold whatever for however period of time.
Yeah. Can you dominate with 2 pennies?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I knew immediately it's one thing I would do.
Oh yeah, same here.
Okay, nose against the wall.
No, nose against the wall. Other one on your head.
Don't
or
knock
you have to
him
hold
down.
the other one, and you can't let either drop.
I thought it was going two pins, push pins. But yeah, that was really cool. Definitely some stuff we can talk about and see if we can weave into our style.
Yep. That's also another huge part of conventions. Take what you want, leave what you don't. Yeah. There is so much, your mileage may vary, in all of this. Just because it works for one dynamic doesn't mean that it automatically applies to everyone.
Yeah.
That's just like, people are different, all of these dynamics are different, and it's infinite possibilities, and that's the fun part.
So, overall, how do you feel? We kind of touched on it lightly.
I mean, overall, I feel really good. Again, like, just being back in, like, that energy, like, just fills my cup and makes me happy. It's definitely something I mean, we've known for a while, or at least I have, that letting kink not be a thing for the past 2 years sucked, like, a lot.
It really, like...
And it probably wasn't the best decision, but it was what my brain could do at the time. Like, I had no control over anything else, so everything just kind of, I shut down.
Yeah.
Like, 100% shut down.
I think I was in the process of, like, doing the same, actually, being more like, oh, it's doom scrolling too much and just way too much anxiety, and I think a lot of it was manifesting itself in, like, ailments and things like that. Yeah. Not really anything, like, crazy, but...
Well, and I've also said recently, and it dawned on me that, like, allowing myself to be kinky and, like, be my authentic self felt too indulgent in the last couple of years, and not only with the pandemic, but everything else that has gone on over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
The racial reckoning that wasn't, and the hatred of so many against people who just want to exist happily, and, like, it felt way too indulgent to be myself authentically when so many people have either had that taken away from them or are unable to.
I think also it was affecting us as well.
It was.
All the events, and we had to cope with that, how that affected us. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why we were dipping our toes back in slowly, because we've done our burnout trip in the kink community, and I don't want to do that. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved having, like, once a week. Like, that once a week was great, but it added on, especially as we got deeper immersed and more involved. Yeah. And with wanting to somehow help in the community, I feel like even though we want to be there once a week, like, we can't. Yeah. Especially for, like, the empathetic people that you and I are. Like, we absorb too much. We take a lot on ourselves that isn't ours to carry.
I definitely went into a funk. I know that you were trying to, like, keep me,
I tried for a bit to keep us in it.
Keep us in it, sending me links and things, or, like, Zoom things, and I think it was like, there was also a time I was, like, going through some issues with some family that were weighing heavily on me, and which has since been resolved, much to everyone's delight. Mm-hmm. It took a lot of work to get there, and I'm still working on it. But I really sort of, like, just kind of disassociated. I think that's what you're saying exactly. It's like, it just felt so frivolous. Yeah. Right? It's like, how can we be, doing these fun, silly things? Because, like, honestly, kink is all about, being fun and silly. Yeah. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's cathartic. What is
Midori's thing? Childish joy with adult toys?
Yes, exactly. So that might be more, our sort of style of play, and not for others. But
yeah, we tiptoe on the dark side quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's interspersed with bits of absolute laughter and brattiness, and I tried to get us to do some of, like, the Zoom things, but I didn't want to do them quote unquote alone. And
Yeah.
like
I
think it was
I
also
dropped out.
yeah, it was also just that like I'm not blaming you, but like you were so uninterested that I knew if I got super excited about it and then like came to, vomit glitter all over you, that I would be disappointed by your lack of reaction, and I can't put that on you.
Yeah.
That's not fair to you.
I think the pandemic has really been sort of a series of like, back and forth. So not necessarily disappointments, but more like, just out of rhythm, just out of sync, out of rhythm with everything. Honestly, everything.
Because we basically have survived the last 2 years by taking turns on who's the most oppressed. Like, I know that sounds really sad, but it's kind of true.
Is it like the oppressed du jour sort of thing?
Who's having the hardest time today? Do I need to step up and be the adult here? Or can I actually just go sit in a corner and cry all day?
Actually,
like, is it fine? Or do I have to make food today?
That could be a little mini series for us.
What?
Of the oppressed du jour. What who's oppressed is hot right now, or something like that, or maybe the opposite. Well, you're all talking about Ukraine. Let's not forget about that. That could be something interesting. Do like a.
Wait, are you saying oppressed or depressed? Because I said depressed.
I said oppressed.
No,
I
I don't want to play the oppression Olympics. No, thank you. And again, me as white girl, I don't get to talk about it. Like, yes, I am a member of many marginalized communities, but I am the last person that should be talking about oppression.
You are lily white.
And very pasty.
Yes. Or as I like to say, pink. Y'all are pinks. No one's ever truly white. Even albinos aren't truly white.
No. That they are not.
So yeah. And also, you know who it annoys? Do you think it annoys any Democrats? Like, yeah, y'all are pinks. Yeah, they're like, yeah. I really feel like anybody
that's
who's
the
like,
thing. The only people that get offended by it are the people who love to offend people.
yeah, essentially the ones who have a problem with darker colors of skin.
Well, if you're so attached to being white, you probably have a problem.
Yeah. Oh, and then that's a whole. Oh, that's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
About this preposterous replacement theory that they're like touting as their reason for attacking innocent people. It's like you're like creating so much trauma. Like there's people who need to just simple act of going, and getting food for your family. Hush. It is something. It does. You do feel a level of guilt when we spent the weekend, being around kinky people and feeling sort of the kinky feels. Right.
While so many disabled folks are still stuck in their homes because the regulations and mandates have all gone away, and you can't trust the masking ratio to be much of anything right now.
Yeah, I honestly, that has sort of been gnawing at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen. Whatever powers may be, whatever you believe in, touch wood. But it is. I hope it doesn't become a super spreader event. I hope it doesn't even become a spreader event.
Yeah.
Like I don't hear of any single, infection. I'm kind of worried about us. I mean, we wore our masks all the time.
Yes, we did.
But I think you were masked better than I was, because you had like actually an N95,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just going with my good old, essentially based on the same design. Okay, my sister sewed it for me. This is like the second custom.
We'll definitely test, a week from now and 2 weeks from now, and just keep up with it. We have the tests available.
Yes, we ordered more.
We will be using them to make sure that ourselves and the people around us are safe.
Yeah, very much so. Overall, I aside from the guilt trip, I think it was good for us. I think it's sort of like, at least got us feeling really good, or feeling better.
Yeah.
About. I mean, this is what our relationship was originally, founded on, was like our link through kink.
Yeah.
Our link through kink. Hey.
No, and it was actually like, even though we've known it, I haven't ever worded our relationship the way I did in class until then, talking about how, like, that kind of in between period we had to go back. Like, yes, we worked on our foundation and stuff, but it never like dawned on me that we came together in a kink dynamic first and foremost, and then we had to go backwards and figure out how to be partners.
Yeah, right.
Outside of kink.
Different. Yeah, that's different, right? For us, a lot of couples.
Yeah, they go the other way around.
Then they they like, oh hey, as they're dating, kind of getting to know each other in the vanilla stage. That's the initial stage, right? And I guess to an extent that's sort of what we did.
Yeah.
But
I mean, technically, but when it comes to like the actual relationship formation,
right?
Like we were play partners. It was like we both were in a area where we're not going to get attached. This is going to be great. Like
right, because when we had met, you had already had plans to.
I was interviewing movers.
Yeah, you're getting ready to move back home like in 3 months or something like that. So, I think that's when we gave everybody chills and miscast us.
No, it was when we were talking about the negotiation, or not our negotiation, our contract and negotiating our breakup.
Oh.
Yeah, that was an interesting light bulb thing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. That's why.
Wait, what?
That was an interesting light bulb moment, realizing that like we had to go back and figure out how to be the traditional boyfriend girlfriend bullshit.
Yes.
That we had glossed over in the frenzy / honeymoon kink period.
Yes. Yeah, and that was early on in our relationship. I felt like you wanted, like, I called it the BFE, the boyfriend experience. I was like, I can't give that to you. And I think that was like a bone of contention for the two of us.
Well, no, it was that I was literally asking for like a second time to have it just be you and I, when it wasn't just after work. Like that was a whole bone of contention, was what is quality time.
Yes.
We had that conversation over and over again because we were like, oh well, we watched TV together last night. It's like, but it's not the same as you very intentionally sitting with me and us spending time together. If nothing else sticks with us for the last 2 years, like there's been a lot of good time over the last 2 years, but not all of it has been quality time, because a lot of it has just been us slugging on the couch for hours.
Right. Which we both normally do.
Yes.
And I think we understand.
Yeah, we understand better now than we did then. So like what we were saying was like there was a whole period in our relationship where like and it's odd because I'll say like we didn't have our second date until we had already been living together, like not officially in the house, but we had already been together for about 4 or 5 months when we had our second date finally.
Yeah, because our first date lasted like 4 or 5 months.
No, it didn't.
It was a long first date.
But it was this whole boat of, if I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, we should go do something on, like, can you and I go do something on Friday? Like, can we go to dinner? And, like, I know that there was also another partner involved in the situation.
Yes.
So I know that there were also parts of your discussion that influenced your feelings on it.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I was then left feeling so needy and like I was demanding so much just by asking for quality time. So then I just stopped because I was like, well, I'm not going to get what I want, so I'm just going to, I give up.
Well,
Which wasn't the best way to do things. And again, that's what led to a lot of things coming to a head, how and when they did.
Yeah.
Was a lot of ignored, needs that I wasn't adequately communicating the importance of.
Yeah.
Because then we got on a more regular schedule of, going on dates more regularly, making more intentional time together, even in those nights that, we're home all night after work and tired and we don't have spoons to necessarily do anything, but how can we make low energy quality time?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
I think it took us a while to figure out, to get our ideas, our mutual idea of quality time,
Yes.
like, in relatively good sync.
yeah, make sure we were speaking relatively the same language.
Yes. We always know.
We were at least in the same book.
Yes.
We might not have been on the same page, but we were at least in the same book.
Are we in the same chapter?
Fine, we can be in the same chapter
Okay,
too.
thank you, yes. I've been working at this. And you have too, to be fair to me.
So like it's been a lot of work to get where we are, and it's pretty wild because
that's what blew away a lot of the people in that class. And even like Ms. Cat asked the groups, like, it took us 6 months. It was at least 6 months that we worked out our 11-page contract.
Yep.
And she asked, like, any of you doms out there or any of you subs out there willing to put in that kind of work? And
are you willing to take that hard look at yourself?
I saw all the the 27-year-old doms,
No.
like no, like no. And to be fair to them, they're just babies.
They're just babies. You don't know what you don't know. Like, yeah, I was a cocky little shit a few years ago too. Like.
Anyway, looks like we are arriving at home. We should end this. Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully it's not too noisy. So don't forget to come find us at the weirdosonline.com, weirdosonline.com, and we'll talk again later.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Smash your social mores with the weirdos next door.